office of the Always Believe House. And today we're going to do your next test review. It's going to have functions. Score! It's going to have lines. Yes! It's going to have zeros of functions. And more. It is so much fun. Let's get rocking and rolling. And a magical whiteboard appears in the office. And we are about to have FUN, fun. Okay, on the first problems. Very important. You need to know how to get the slope. Let me write in here. Pick a pen. You need to know how to get the slope, which is your rate of change, the zero, which is your x-intercept, and the y-intercept. You need to know what all those points mean, okay? The x-intercept, the y-intercept, and what that slope is. The x-intercept is going to be your zero of the function, okay? So let's get rocking and rolling. Okay, write down y equals mx plus b. The m is our slope. The b is the y-intercept. Okay, and the zero is going to be 0, something, right? The x will be 0, and we got to find the y. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Now then, let's graph this line. So our m is equal to 1/2, and our y-intercept is -1. So our slope is going to tell us to go up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2 on it. The y-intercept tells us to start at -1. That's like your starting number. So we're going to start at -1 and draw a dot, aren't we? Now then, from that dot, and I'm going to zoom in so I can see better. From that dot, I'm going to go up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, and I'm going to repeat that process. That's your constant rate of change. So we're going to go up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. Repeat the process. It's important you can make this pattern of dots. If you go backwards, you won't go up and right, you'll go down and left. So let's go down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2, and I'm going to connect those dots. Okay, so to get our slope, we would go up 1 over 2, so our m would be 1 over 2. This would be my y-intercept, -1, and right here would be my x-intercept, which is 2 in it. Okay, so from this graph, I can get the slope, the y-intercept, and the x-intercept. So my slope is 1 over 2. My 0 is the x-intercept, it's 2, and the y-intercept would be -1. Now then, what if you didn't have a graph? Okay, let's write down y equals 1/2 x minus 1. And I'm sorry, your 0 is going to be Jiminy Crickets. The 0 is going to be a number, 0. I'm sorry. So your 0 is going to be where the y is 0, not the x. That's your y-intercept. I did that on purpose to see if you were paying attention. Okay. So your 0 is going to be where y is 0, and you're going to find the x. Basically, what x can you plug in to output 0? So my 0 is going to be my y. My y will be 0 in my 0. So I'm going to replace this y with 0 and solve for x. If you want to solve for x, let's get rid of the 2. So we'll get 0 equal x minus 2. Move over the 2, and I'm going to get x equal 2, aren't I? Which is the exact same thing I get as this in it. So if you replace your y with 0 and solve, you will get your x-intercept. If you replace your y with 0 and solve for x, you get your x-intercept, which is called the 0 of the function, which is your x-intercept. I'm not going to do number 2 for you. You can do that one, okay? The only thing I will do, let's solve for the x-intercept. So write down y equal -3x plus 1. We're going to replace the y with 0 and solve for x. So I would move over the 1, and then I would divide by -3, wouldn't I? And I would get 1 over 3 equals what? That is going to be my x-intercept or my 0 in it. So if I input 1/3, I will output 0, okay? So when you graph this line, it should cross at 1/3. Let's go to the next number. Now then, I'm not going to take all the joy away from you. I'm going to solve number 3 for y. So let's write this over here. 3x plus 2y equals 6. Let's solve it for y. We're going to move over the x. So 2y equals -3x plus 6. If you want, you can put the minus 3x But remember, when you move terms across the fraction or across the equal, they'll switch signs. So we have 2y equals negative 3x plus 6. Now I'm going to divide by 2, aren't I? And I'm going to divide by 2 3 times. So I will get y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 3. Okay, now then, this would be my slope. This would be my y-intercept. You should be able to graph that line. Now then, let me start off, because y'all are kind of weak. I'll help y'all with this one. So to graph this line, we're going to start with the y-intercept, right? The y-intercept's 3, and my slope's negative 3 over 2 in it. So I'm going to put a dot at the 3, 1, 2, 3. Now then, my slope tells me negative 3 over 2. That means down 3, right 2, down 3, right 2. So I'm going to go down 3, right 2, draw a dot. Go down 3, right 2, draw a dot. Go down 3, right 2, draw a dot. And if I do it again, I'll be off the graph one. So now let's go backwards. To go backwards, you'll go up and left. So up 3, left 2, and I can't do it again, can I? So I'm going to connect the dots. Now then, this is kind of easy because we could get our slope. We're going down 3 and over 2. So our slope's negative 3 over 2. This is our y-intercept, which is 3. And our x-intercept right here, 2 in it. If I were to replace the y with 0 and solve for x, and then I'm going to get rid of my fraction, move the 6 over, and then divide by negative 3, I would get x equals 2, wouldn't I? Which is exactly what the x-intercept is, isn't it? Okay, so if you replace the y with 0 and solve for x, you get your x-intercept. Okay, let's go over. I've got, y'all should know number 5 and 6. Okay, look at the key. The x equal negative 5 is going to cross the x-axis at negative 5, isn't it? The y equal negative 5 will cross the y-axis at negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So see if you could draw those lines. See if you could look back at your notes for those, okay? Might as well tell you. I can't. Y'all are like, please tell me, please tell me. So your x equal line will be vertical. Your y equal line is horizontal. A vertical line has an undefined slope. Please don't miss that. And a horizontal line has a 0 slope. That is like, should be in your memory. Undefined, 0, okay? Let's go to number 7. To get the 0 of the function, I'm going to replace the y with 0. Multiply everything by 5 to get rid of the fraction. You'll get 0 equal, the 5's cancel out, 3x minus 25. Now then, I'm going to move over the 25 and divide by 3. So I'm going to add 25 to both sides. I'm going to get 25 equals 3x, divide by 3, and my x-intercept will be a fraction, won't it? You would leave it 25 over 3, even though it's like 8 1/3. Just leave it 25 over 3. Okay. On the next problem, we have x and y, don't we? So we're going to replace x with negative 1. So put f of negative 1 equals negative 6 and put parentheses. So I'll replace my x with parentheses, didn't I? Now then, I'm going to take that negative 1 and plug it in here, right? And then just, oh, this is plus 3. Sorry about that. Jiminy crickets. Okay, so type this as is into the calculator. Don't need this part right here. Just type this as into the calculator and put your answer here. Okay, number 9. Your input is your domain. Please don't miss on the test. Your output is your range. You put them in order from least to greatest and you don't repeat them. So my domain, the smallest number would be what? Negative 32, then 2. So I'm going to put them in order, right? 3, 4. So negative 32, comma, negative 2.5. So that would be my domain, wouldn't it? And do the same thing for the range. Are any of the x's repeating? They are not. Yes, the x's do not repeat. I will let you write down the range on your own. So for the range, you would put these numbers in here, least to greatest, okay? Number 10, the domain and range. The domain is x, the range is y. So my domain is here, my range is here. And notice this ends in a bullet. So bullet, bullet. My domain will go from here to here, won't it? which is from 0 to what? 40 in it. So my domain starts at 0, goes to 40. It's on the x-axis. And remember, we use less than or equal signs. That's how you write in numbers between 0 and 40. Remember, if there's an arrow tip, you could use an infinity symbol. Now then, the y's, or your ranges, would go from here to here, wouldn't they? So from bottom to top, it would go from 0 to 16, would it? It would not be x, it would be y, and we would use our less than or equals. Is this a function? Yes, because x's do not repeat. That is more power. This would also be, write this down, a continuous function, wouldn't it? If you have a continuous function, you'll use the less than symbols, won't you? If you have a discrete function, you'll write down the items, okay? Continuing on, isn't this fun, fun, fun? Mr. Toops loves doing math. Almost as awesome as Oreo cookies. Convert from standard, which is ax plus by equals c, to slope-intercept y equal mx plus b. So basically solve for y. So let's write down our equation. 6x minus 5y equals 10. We want to solve this for y, right? So underline the y. I'm going to move over the 6x and divide by the 5 on it. So when I move over that 6x, I'm going to get negative 5y equals negative 6x plus 10. We want y equal x the number. Y equal x the number. Y equal x the number. That's what we just wrote down, didn't we? Y equal x the number. Now then, we're going to divide everything by the number in front of y, which is negative 5. We will get y equals 2 negatives makes a positive, 6th grade integer work, 6 over 5x. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So we would end up with this. That means our y-intercept would be negative 2. And this line would go up 6, right 5, would it? The y-intercept would be negative 2, up 6, right 5. Now then, let's go to here. I'm going to show you several ways to do this. Write down 5x minus 3y equals 15. Now then, let's switch this to y equal mx plus b so we can get our slope and our y-intercept. Okay, so 5x minus 3y equals 15. This is like the more power, or this is like kind of the medium way to do it, okay? But you've got to be able to do it this way. Okay, so we're going to move over the 5x, and that's going to make the 5x negative, right? If you want, you can put the negative 5x, trying to let you write down. Let's just draw the arrow. The arrow tells your teacher that you're switching the signs when you move it across. Now then, we're going to divide by negative 3, aren't we? And we would get y equal a positive 5 over 3x minus 5, right? This is our slope is 5 over 3, which is the same thing as the rate of change. That means you're going to go up 5, right 3, aren't you? That's what that slope means. The y-intercept is right here. It's negative 5, but we do not have our 0, do we? To get our 0, we're going to have to set this equal to 0 and solve for x. Let's do that right here. So set this y to 0. And notice this part right here cancels out, doesn't it? So all we have to do is divide these two numbers, don't we? So this number divided by this number is your x-intercept in it. And also notice that this number divided by this is your y-intercept in it. So if you take standard, if you do c divided by the number in front of y, you'll get your y-intercept. C divided by the number in front of x, you'll get your x-intercept. So our x-intercept right here will be, 15 divided by 5 is not 5, it's 3 in it. Jiminy crickets. So our 0 is 3. Fun, fun, fun. Let's do number 3. Okay, so on number 3, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to solve this for y. So negative 3x minus 2y equals 12. Write down the equation again, because we're going to do more power with it in a minute. Move over the 3x. You'll get positive 3x plus 12. Divide by negative 2. And we'll get y equals negative 3 over 2x minus 6, won't we? So our rate of change, or our slope, is negative 3 over 2. That means we won't go up, we will go down. The y-intercept is right here, it's negative 6. And remember the shortcut I just told you. If I take this number and divide it by that number, I get my x-intercept, don't I? If I replace this with 0, these cancel out. So 12 divided by negative 3 would be negative 4, wouldn't it? And notice 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6 in it. So this number divided by this is my y-intercept. This number divided by this number is my x-intercept. That is more power. Standard form rules. You're going to love standard form by the end of the year. Number 14. Okay. The daily cost of hiring a painter, Y. So this is the total cost to work X hours. So X is our hours. And the Y is going to be our dollars. On a painting chart, it can be used by the middle function, The painter charges a fixed cost of $75. That's our starting number. The charge plus $80 per hour. That's our growing number, isn't it? And the painter works a maximum of 6 hours per day. So that's the most he's ever going to work. Okay, so let's make our GX plus S. So we're going to have Y equals, and we're going to go, our growing number is 80, 80x plus 75, right? And the maximum he's going to work is 6 hours. So let's plug in 6 for 75. 8 times 6 plus 75, punch that into your calculator. I have one right here, you get 555. So the most he's going to make is 555. Now then, please listen. Write down least. The least he makes is 75 bucks. The most he makes is $555. Okay? So his range is going to go from 75 to 555. That's what the range would look like, okay? His domain would go from 0 to 6. Because he's going to start at 0 hours and go to 6. Let's do the next one, and I'm going to be really simple on this one. Draw a T-chart. I'm not going to do this for you. I'll do the first one for you. Let's go from left to right. So this dot would be 1, 3, wouldn't it? The next dot would be 2, 1, right? Finish graphing all these dots. The X is your domain, and the range is your Y. And then you would write them with the braces, right? If the X's do not repeat, it's a function. So if you have a set of ordered pairs, your X's is your domain, your range is your Y. Make a T-chart, put all your X's and Y's in as ordered pairs, and then write your domain and range. Easiest way to do it. Turn the page! Now we're going to identify domain and range. Remember, the domain is going to be on our X-axis. Sorry, I'm kind of talking quick. You can pause the video. I don't, try not to make these 50 minutes long. And the range would be our Y. So, on the x-axis, let's go. So, we want to figure out where this graph goes on the x-axis. This graph starts here, go down, and it's going to be at the -2 with an open circle in it. Then it keeps going down, and that arrow won't stop, will it? So, our domain is going to start at -2 and go to infinity. The domain is x, and it's going to be less than or equals, right? Now then, if I wanted to write this just without the domain, it's going to be x greater than or equal to -2. So it's all the x's that are more than -2, which is exactly what we have on our x-axis in it. Now then, let's do the range. The range won't go from left to right, it'll go from bottom to top on it. So this graph starts off on the bottom with infinity, because it keeps going down, and it goes all the way up to right here with the circle in it. So it's going to go from -infinity all the way up to 3, and it's going to have y and less than or equal in it. That's one way you can write it. If you do not put the infinity symbol in, it's going to be y less than or equal to 3. So it's all the y's that are 3 or smaller. Let's go to the next one, 17. We are almost done. Isn't that sad? Almost done. Darn. Okay, the domain is our x's. You gotta love the domain. Okay, the x's will go from left to right. So if I start left, I'm here. I'm going to go straight up to the axis and put a closed dot right there. And that dot's at -4. Then I'm going to go to the right, and it stops right here. I'm going to go straight down the x-axis and circle that. So my domain will go from here to here, won't it? And that's going to go from a -4 to a +4. You put x in the middle, and you put less than or equal, but this is going to be an open dot in it. So it will just be less than, right? And I'm sorry, this is an open dot 2. I did that on purpose. They should not have the equal bar, should they? So on the last one, if you have an open dot, you won't put the equal sign, right? I did that on purpose again to say, like, Mr. Teach, you didn't do that right. If you didn't catch that, something's wrong. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention, because I will intentionally mess up to see if you're paying attention. If you have an open dot, you won't put the equal bars, will you? Okay, now then let's look at our range. Our range will go from the bottom to the top, right? I'll do it in a different color. The bottom of the graph's right here. It's going to go over and put a closed dot in it. The very top of the graph would be right here. I'm going to go over and put an open dot, right? So my range connects these two dots, doesn't it? So the bottom number is -3 and the top number is 4. I'm going to put Y for range. The -3 has a closed dot. The +4 has an open dot. So that's what my range would look like. Oh. And then lastly, this is the estimation problem. Now then, this is what you learned Friday. You could put this in the calculator. Okay, remember, set up the new table and all that, then hit Menu, Stat Calculation, and then hit Linear Regression. And then you would get your mx plus b, and you're going to predict with 25. You would put 25 in for x, wouldn't you? Okay, and remember, it was menu, stat was 1, stat calculation was 4, the linear regression was 3, then you hit x down, y down, enter, and boom, you got your mx plus b, right? I'm not going to run that for you, okay? Because we can estimate without doing that. Let's draw a line of best fit. So if I were to draw a line of best fit, it would look something like that, wouldn't it? And 25 would be about over here, right? Which is about right in here, right? Look at your possible choices. 8.5% is too high. It's going to be 2.5 is too low, and 10 is too high. So the answer would be right at 6%. So at 6%, it's going to be right at 25 years. If you were to run the linear regression and put 25 in for x, it would be right at 6. Okay? I hope you've had a blast today. Tomorrow you will take your test. You are going to do wonderful. Remember, you are amazing. You were created to do wonderful things. Enjoy the Zen after this, the 17 seconds of Zen, and you are awesome.